CWC.
Uh,
Ulit.
yes,
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chair.
Attorney Santa Maria. So sir, batay sa mga natanggap yung mga tawag dun sa Makabata
Yes,
Helpline
Madam Chair.
1383, may mga kaso na po ba ng NVE in particular na nai-report po sa inyo?
Well, Madam Chair, none yet specifically for NVE so far, but we did receive several reports concerning both the Tacloban and now sa Zamboanga rin po. But this is more actually in line what we were going to suggest, in agreement with the suggestions of DepEd, Madam Chair, is really to focus not just on the social media aspect, the virality of these stories, as well as the details of all of those children affected, but also when it comes to traditional media, Madam Chair, because we receive reports sometimes that the coverage is too extensive. It sometimes reveals sensitive information. To be fair and to Meta, Madam Chair, during the Tacloban incidents, there were several posts, no, from online influencers, from vloggers, that were even leaking what appeared to be the group chats, no, ng mga bata involved. And when we reported this to Meta through our helpline, it was taken down swiftly naman po. So we're seeing similar incidents here in the Zamboanga incident, ma'am. For example, yung mga na-save nga po from the live stream, minsan kumakalat rin siya, nati-take down rin naman po. But that's what we're actually suggesting, Madam Chair, because currently we do have the what we call the media guidelines, no, for media practitioners. The revised version was just launched by the CWC last year. So this covers not just stories being reported on by traditional media practitioners, but also is expanded to cover social media as well, Madam Chair. And this is a really helpful guide, no, a tool that our media practitioners can follow. But as of now, since it's just an issuance by the CWC, it's not really binding. It's just a guide nga po, as we mentioned. If, for example, there are acts that don't follow the guide, it might be punished under different laws, like data privacy or our children in situations of armed conflict law po, Madam Chair. No? But in particular, I think what the CWC can really suggest here is to have perhaps a law na rin po that would really focus on how children are being covered on the media, not just in traditional media, but social media as well, Madam Chair. So yes, that's our suggestion. We also agree with all of the suggestions so far, yung increased protocols, especially, Madam Chair, is a stronger regulation when it comes to firearms. We would like to point out, Madam Chair, actually under PD 603 or the Child and Youth Welfare Code, Article 59, it's actually a crime for parents who permit children to possess, handle uh, deadly weapons, Madam Chair, there's criminal liability here. But based on my interpretation of that provision, it's just permit. So yung mga pumayag lang. What if we also expand that provision, Madam Chair, or really strengthen implementation para yung not to cover cases not just of parents who actually permit, but who failed to secure yung mga firearms, Madam Chair. So yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, attorney. And actually, it's good you reminded me, kaugnay ng traditional media, may at least isang uh, news channel na nakita ko, well, online, pero sinagundahan ito or sabay ba na pinangunahan ng kapisanan ng mga broadcaster sa Pilipinas yung mas responsible na pag-uulat tungkol dito sa nangyari sa Ateneo de Zamboanga. So traditional media is already starting to see ano din yung responsibility nila to contribute to a solution and to prevent further harms. Yung Okay, and well noted po yung mga points nyo about the laws that can be strengthened or magagamit dito sa preventive at saka responsive actions natin regarding serious violence at saka NVE. And if you have something to add on this question, diyan sa mga kaso ng NVE na nare-report sa inyo, ano yung protocols nyo sa ganyang reports?
Well, Madam Chair, it would really depend. For example, the hypothetical that you mentioned a while ago, if it was a child, for example, or a student who's suspecting a fellow student who might commit, no, we do have what we do have are helpline officers who are registered social workers. We also have a lawyer on staff po who can be ready to provide the relevant interventions that might be needed. If it's a child, for example, in crisis, they can readily talk to our trained registered social workers. So, Madam Chair, we continuously conduct uh, capability building with our helpline officers to ensure that they're able to provide the necessary interventions. So just recently we had for suicide prevention, for also psychological first aid, and I don't think we have yet for NVE, but we can definitely add that, Madam Chair, kasi parang specific talaga yung how this should be handled, especially for our helpline officers like the dun sa Makabata helpline. More than that, Madam Chair, we also refer immediately if there's, for example, imminent danger or talagang it's about to happen na or ongoing, we have connections naman rin po with our 911 as well as agreements, MOAs with our PNP, no? So that's our protocol for handling those calls, Madam Chair, and those reports.
Thank you so much, Attorney. So let's go now to our game developers, Filipino Roblox Developers Association. And again, thank you for being here again, Game Developers Association of the Philippines. Actually, just one question leading to a common question for all. Na in the interest of time, I would like to ask all the resource persons to submit in writing. Kasi ito yung papunta na sa ating committee report. Ano na, lalagumin na namin lahat ng findings from the past hearings and then recommendations. So, Ms. Ria, okay, from... Yes, GDAP. Thank you so much for joining us again. So, Ms. Ria, in a press conference, DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla was quoted as saying that with a great degree of confidence that the Zamboanga shooter was influenced by Roblox. On another occasion, the Zamboanga City Mayor Olaso also mentioned the shooter being quite a Roblox fanatic. But we all know that it's not as simple as it seems, because this kind of violence, or even NVE for that matter, in previous cases, seldom emerges from a single source. It's often a combination. Sinabi nga, intersectionality, sinabi kanina interplay. It's often a combination of interrelated factors that are developmental, social, the digital world, among others. So, ang tanong ko po sa inyo, and itatanong ko rin sa lahat to submit please in writing, how can we as legislators, people from various government agencies, civil society, work with game developers to make sure that our children are protected? Ano ang pwede nating sama-samang gawin? First, from game developers perspective, anong pwede natin gawin para maiwasan na magamit ang mga gaming platforms sa pag-groom ng mga kabataan toward violent radicalization?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before in the previous hearing, kasi it's really Roblox is a platform. It's not a game in itself. So a lot of the games that you play in Roblox are not created by Roblox. It's created by third-party people. In fact, there are several companies in the Philippines that actually make Roblox. So it's a part of the industry in the Philippines actually. One of the main thing that I think legislation can really help us with to coordinate with this is really an information campaign, because one thing that we've noticed is that a lot of people do not know the existing parental controls that are already in place. Let me give you a very simple thing that usually happens that most parents do not realize. So, for example, I have a niece, yeah? And usually a lot of parents, they're actually very very responsible when it comes to their children. They would tell them, "Oh, sige, you're 8 years old, let's say you're 6 years old, wala ka munang accounts, no Roblox or anything." But then when the parent gets busy and then the child goes, "Mommy, can I just watch one video on YouTube?" Anong gagawin ng parents? They give their phone. Their phone has no control. So even if they tell the kid, "Oh, sige, bluey lang ha." But since there are like suggestions, and these suggestions are not for the kids, it's for the parent, lumalabas yung mga content that they do not or should not see. And yung nga, I don't blame parents for that kasi hindi naman natin naiisip yun, di ba? We don't realize that. Pero I think the first step talaga would be education. We are now in a world where in technology, new technology, it develops so fast. We cannot use the excuse na busy kasi eh, and then we don't try to learn the technology that is before us. We don't need people to become coders. We just need them to know. Like yung nga, in the case of Roblox, let's not penalize Roblox too much. It's not Roblox that is making these games. It's not Roblox that are telling these children to do these. It's third party inside Roblox. So, di ba, the approach will be a little different. So I think that's the first thing. It's really education. And when I say education, this is both on the side of the parents as well as children, which is great because DepEd is here. I'd like to propose this idea, if it is possible, to actually implement classes or subjects inside elementary, high school children on how to navigate in the digital world. Because one of the weird things that we have right now is we just assume that our children know how to deal with themselves in the digital world. But sometimes we really just need somebody to tell them na if merong ganitong klaseng people, if they suddenly ask you about these things, wag ha. You know, it's something as simple as that. And if we simply like expect parents to know about this, sometimes hindi eh. It would probably be easier if there's a more structured approach. Like, for example, computer classes. Usually so we have computer classes in school, but usually in computer classes, what we teach is the use of a tool, how to use Microsoft Word, how to use ganyan. But we don't tell them how to behave. Yeah. So within our communities, we call it digital citizenship. Do our children know how to be good digital citizens to protect themselves from bad actors, but also so that they themselves don't become the bad actors? So yun, that's I think the one thing that we can look into. How can we get people to know, to really understand this new world that we are in, para it's easier for us to protect ourselves and our children?
Salamat, Ms. Via, and hopefully kahit hanggang sa technical working group, GDAP will be participating. Salamat po.